What is up, everyone? OliveGrummer here, and God, that was a strange intro. But before I jump into this reaction, because I'm about to do Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer #1, go ahead and do the social media here. Go ahead and add that there: Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram. Sub to the main channel, and just go ahead and jump into this. I've got nothing to say except this should be real good. So 3, 2, 1. Ha! That's awesome. That is a nice car. That was nice. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Product placement? Oh, wow. Can't cut that out. Okay, so let me cancel this. Okay, so overall, it looks entertaining, looks fun. God, I'm gonna try so hard not to just read off this paper, but Squid gave me some notes on what is going on in this trailer, because obviously he is the go-to when it comes to movies and stuff like that, especially Marvel and DC and stuff like that. Along those lines, he knows a lot more than I do. So we've got Scott talking to Hope in the beginning. She asks like, "Yo," or no, he asks if Cap called, would you come, stuff like that. So we just kind of, this might be placed before Infinity Wars, just kind of off of that question. But I mean, obviously we have to watch the movie and find out ourselves. We see that Scott is on house arrest because of the Sokovia Accords. I remember that now. And that's the stuff that happened from Civil War and this and that. So yeah, it's just kind of like he's a fugitive from Civil War, and now we're seeing how that ties into this movie and how his involvement is affecting this movie. So we saw Hank Pym. He is the original Ant-Man. He also is the original creator in the comments of Ultron. I messed that up in my notes. But he's the original Ant-Man in the comics, and then he's the original creator in the comics of Ultron as well. I don't remember what this note says, but we also see Bill Foster, who is played by Lawrence Fishburne. Great actor. I like him. He's interesting to have in this movie because we don't know much about him, like from the trailer itself, like what is his role and stuff like that. But we'll address that later on. We gotta remember, for those who know about him, he is the fourth Goliath in the comics. Which means he has access to the Pym. I can't read that note. Sorry, Squid. I know you told me not to read it. Particles. I should have been able to read that. Which also means that he grows in size. And then in the Civil War comics, he was killed by Thor's clone named Ragnarok. I think Squid said that he got a lightning bolt to the chest, which is pretty dope. I keep looking at the camera, or I keep looking at the screen. I gotta look at the camera. So that's pretty cool. So I wonder, because obviously, like the Ragnarok movie is completely different than um, a, a clone of Thor killing Bill Foster. The main villain is Ghost. We saw him with like the mask and then the four little like lenses things. Um, it's pretty cool because he's super dangerous because of what he can do. He is a technopath, which means he can merge and control technology with his mind. Um, that's pretty dope. They said they said it's his female form or her female form, but in reality he doesn't really have a form. He, she, it doesn't really have a form. So that was something I was interested in. For those who know a little bit about the comics, let me know in the comments below. Um, I think it was mentioned maybe in the first Ant-Man, but Hank didn't want Hope to be the original Ant-Man because of what happened to his mom, where she went subatomic and to defuse a missile and never made it back out. Um, so we kind of need that was just a little interesting tidbit, and I guess that's why she's Wasp now. And as you know, Hope is Wasp. Um, and then like she was really good at combat during the that one little scene with the knives being thrown and stuff like that. Like I was impressed. I was like, man, she's really getting the hang of this. So that's one thing you can pay attention to, which ties into a point I'm going to bring up in a little bit. Before that, we're going to go back to Bill Foster. Kind of mentioned him a second ago, but now we need to think, what's his role in this movie? Is he an ally? Is he not an ally? So it's going to be interesting to see that and how he's portrayed in the movie as well. Um, Squid brought up a really good point of a potential plot twist. So in the comics, Hope Pym is wow, I wrote that really wrong. She is known as the Red Queen, who is a supervillain, and she has wings, blasters, but can't shrink. So that's something to pay attention to because we're thinking, like in the beginning, she kind of says no to when Scott asks, like, "Yo, would you answer the call when Cap calls? Will you answer the call?" And she kind of says no. So it's like, will the plot twist be she turns into the villain towards the end of the movie? Like maybe what I'm thinking, just kind of bouncing off that idea, is something happens to her ability to shrink, and then she goes evil because she still has the blasters and the wings, um, but then maybe she loses the ability to shrink. So I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments what you know about this, and then some final points. I know I was not supposed to read, but I apologize again, Squid. Some questions we need to ask. Will we see Ghost's origin story? I know about it, but will we know about it, and how will it be portrayed, or will he just be a villain? That's kind of one of those things where when you have a villain in a movie, either you can briefly do a origin story that could be, just skim the idea of what actually happened to him based off of the comics, or you can just completely just, hey, here's a villain, here's what he does, shoo shoo, shoo shoo, go along now. Another thing is we got to know, is he actually the villain, and what's he doing? Is he going after Ant-Man and the Wasp, or are they going after him, or what? Because I mean, if you think about it, his power is pretty dang dangerous. And then I know Squid was telling you about how like um, how Ghost was going after. I mean, this is part of his origin story, I guess. The company that let him go or hurt him or something like that, and then eventually he went to Tony Stark, and then obviously this dude, like Tony Stark, will not win. Like Iron Man will not win against Ghost. So then Tony Stark was like, "Yo, like you can see whatever you want," and then he realized Tony Stark isn't as bad as he thought. So that was pretty interesting when Squid told me that. Another thing is, and I mentioned it earlier, what is Bill Foster's role in the movie? This is just kind of one of those things where we got to think, okay, is he a villain? What's he doing? Because I mean, he is the fourth Goliath, and are they going to implement that into this movie as well? So we just got to wait and see. Maybe he dies at the end of the movie. Squid said it's not that significant, but I mean, my idea was, since Bill Foster has a nephew, Tom Foster, who becomes a Goliath, maybe will we see that at the end of the movie? Like, will Bill die at the end of the movie, and then Tom, excuse me, gets the ability, or he becomes a Goliath? So it could be like something towards the end of the movie, maybe like something chaotic or catastrophic happens where Hope loses her ability to shrink, and then she turns, I guess, to the bad side, as a villain, and then Bill Foster maybe dies or something like that, and then I guess series of events. I don't know. This is just kind of what I thought of while we were discussing this. And then another thing is, as I just mentioned, will Hope stay good the whole time because she is the Red Queen in the comics. Um, so we'll just have to kind of wait and see. And then a little thing that Marvel likes to do is they like to put in other Marvel characters in not their movies, if that made any sense. So will we see another Marvel character appearance? That's going to be something we got to look for, because time-wise, it's most likely right before Infinity Wars. Well, not right before, but before Infinity Wars. So we'll have to end up watching and see, like, hey, will another Marvel character show up? Because I know we've got Iron Man and the Spider-Man and stuff like that. So, excuse me, everyone. So we just got to kind of pay attention to that. And then I know usually towards the end of the movie, or like the post-credit scene, there's always a little snippet. And we'll have to see what that snippet is and how it's going to introduce the next movie or the next villain or whatever they introduce in that little snippet. So if you guys have any comments, anything I got completely wrong, go ahead and correct me in the comments below. Let me know what you guys know about the movie. Will you guys see it in the theaters? As of right now, I probably should see it in the theater. But we'll see how that goes. And then if you guys aren't going to watch it in theaters, how are you going to watch it if you're going to watch it? And let me know if you guys aren't even interested. Yeah, just let me know in the comments below. Check the links in the description for PayPal, Patreon, this, that, all the fun stuff. Anyways, don't forget, social media here, sub to the main channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm about to go live stream a new game. Peace, everyone.